Salvador with a return to normal, I guess we can say. I'm going to talk about Hannah Montana and her new... She does a YouTube show, Miley and Mandy show, and basically, I skimmed through this because it's all over the views and apparently it's like the top video. So I said, let me check it out. I'm curious. And in literally the first minute, she basically confirmed what I had said in my Hannah Montana Sucks video. She doesn't go to school. She doesn't go to school. It's impossible for her to be a superstar and go to school and all that stuff. And it's coming straight from her mouth. Now I know what many of you are just going, or just thinking. You're going, no shit. Wow, do you think the Transformers are real? You think robots are going to turn into cars and they're going to transform? I understand. I don't know. People think that it's like because I said that in many F words, which I'm trying not to do because everybody said I did a lot of F bombs. You're going to hear noises. But this is my little niece that was in my Hannah Montana Still Sucks video, and there's noise. Let's hear the noise. And I'll give you a perfect reason why I kept that noise in. It's going to come back in. It's going to annoy me. It's going to annoy you. But I'll tell you later why I left that noise in, and why I leave the noise in, and why I leave things like that in. Anyway, Hannah Montana. Yes, duh. We know that if you're a rich superstar, you're not going to go to school and pretend, and that everybody with a pulse or with a brain would have known she's wearing a wig, it's the same girl. Nobody would be dumb enough. You see shows like Dirt, you know that anybody with just half a mind would know you're the same girl, you're not just a look-alike, blah blah blah. No crap, you're not telling us anything good. Like I said, this comes straight out of her mouth. Destiny, Miley, whatever the name, just like me, just a bunch of aliases. So why am I so protrude? Why am I so peeved? Why do I care so much? Why do I give a crap so much? Why is this such an issue? There's a war going on, and as you probably saw from my other video, I talked about something, and I'll talk about that later. Why is it such a big deal? Who cares? Get a life, move on, comb your hair, move out of your house, whatever. This is a big deal to me because there are, it's kind of like with Superman, where when Superman George Reeves, when there are really dumb kids, really dumb kids who watch this show, and they don't watch it like it's on in loop. There's noise. I want to get an STFU over here, but I'm trying to be good. But these kids, like my niece, they sit in front of the television all day, and that's their babysitter. Is the Disney Channel, is Sprout, is these channels. And as adults, while you kind of want to pretty much think that, like, okay, I'm going to make sure and govern and see what my kids watch, you kind of really don't care. It's like you just want the kid to be out of sight, out of mind, shut up, and throw him in front of the television. That a lot of young girls, like my cousin that was in that video, they do spend a lot of time alone, isolated. And now you see they're doing like Miley does. People like me, you blog, and you, with your time alone and with your isolated moments, you choose those moments, and you create something. You create something where there's nothing. Music is that thing that has been... There's a great quote that I'll put at the end of this video, and I don't want to not get it wrong, but about music, but I think music is something that anybody can do. And music before, if you go really, really back and you look, music was done by a lot of ugly people. And I mean that in the best way possible. Music was something that it was never glamorous. They never really had people who were just like, you have to be pretty and you have to have talent and sing, otherwise you can't be a musician. It's amazing to me that when I hear Lovin' Spoonfuls in the summertime, well, not in the summertime, hot Summer in the City, in the summertime, Uncle Jerry, what's wrong with me? But it's amazing because I always thought that guy was black. When I hear that song, I always think that's a black guy singing that. And then you see him and he looks like some Jewish kind of white dude, and that amazes me. Like that, like, wow, there's a voice on that person. That's weird, and but that's cool. And that's the same thing when you go to the Mamas and the Papas, and you see, like, it's not really done. Like, look at Bob Dylan, and just, like, you just see the voice, and then you see the image, and it's weird to marry those two, because you're like, because today we live in a time that says you have to. It's like a piece of candy or something. It's like, if you know what it looks like, you know what it tastes like, that's it. It's just weird. The music was once at a time where, like I said, anybody could create music at any moment. You just need the instruments, and if you don't have the instruments, you find some way to make music. You beatbox. It's something inside you, and you have to get it out, and you just express it. And in this day and age, you're gonna get, like, it's interesting, because, like I said, with Hannah Montana, the character, what the show's about is basically, there's this girl, and she sings country pop music, and she basically gets really, really famous. Now, as an idea, that show, I can see why it appeals to girls, and here's why. Because kids want to be famous today. Like, they want to be more, I think they want to be more famous than they want to be loved, or get good grades, or get, like, if you ask kids what do you want to be when you grow up, before they used to say things like astronaut and this, now they say, I want to be Hannah Montana, I want to be rich. And I don't say role model, I'm not going to say role model, I just say, it's because kids see that and they go, I'll do that. And what shows, what everything basically is telling you now is that, yeah, you can do that. Just have a dream, go after it. If you just stick with it, it'll happen. But what shows don't tell you is that, it's not a sprint being a musician. And sprints is just like, it's like, you're not, it's not Who Let the Dogs Out. You don't just come out with one single and then, that's it, and you stay off that. Like, real artists, real musicians, no matter what the craft, no matter who you are, if you're really worth it in your salt, and I would say the salt of the performance, of the taste, like, if it's really worth it, like a Pink Floyd, or something, it's a lot of work. But they make it look, the really great artists make it look so easy. They make it look so easy, and you're, like I said, when I listen to so many of Pink Floyd's albums, and I'm just constantly blown away that somebody sat down and was able, in a room, to just put some keys, and it went off for like 20 minutes, and you're sitting there going, wow, that's amazing that they could do that. And then when you actually hear them, they go, oh, that was just me taking a note from this guy, and that was a little bit of Beethoven's. And you see that they're, like, kind of not stealing, but they're picking from little things. Like, in their mind, they were listening to somebody at the time that influenced them. They were watching something, and that influenced that. Like, in a way, when you see Cloverfield and you see, J.J. Abrams, he was influenced, Godzilla and Blair Witch and those movies that, 100 years from now, you won't remember the Blair Witch or the Godzilla, but you'll remember that movie, and then you'll be like, how did they do that? And you always kind of want to know that at the time, what was around them? What were they drawing from? And with Hannah Montana, I think if I was to really ask her, who are your musical inspirations, what is music you listen to, it would probably be made up, like they'd make, like for the story, they'd make up some guy, because they never would really say, well, I really like this country singer, because Disney Channel would have to sit there, listen to that country singer, and go, let's see what he sings about. I hope he's not singing about he slept with some woman, and then, her husband found out and he was trying to kill, like it's kind of like now with what Elvis is like, I was watching The Game Plan and the other day, and Elvis has just become a total bitch, and everyone's taken Elvis and made him their bitch, and I'm like, you do realize this is a guy who, OD'd and died, and didn't have a happy ending in death, and I know it's like, well, that has nothing to do with the music. I get that, but I say,